All right. I am Emily from Utah Mechanical Systems, and today I'm just going to be letting you guys know what's going on. This is a video for our Contractor Diaries YouTube channel, and what I basically do is get on here and let you guys know what I'm doing every day and progress we're making in our business and decisions and things that we're doing. This content is meant to help other contractors to not feel so alone, to maybe have some guidance or get ideas, and just, I don't know, entertainment for someone that likes to watch this sort of stuff. So, I forget where we left off, but yesterday I let go of a commission-only sales rep. She has been with us for about 6 weeks or so, maybe more. And the reason why I have let her go is basically due to performance. So, it's been really challenging to find a sales rep. I remember when, like a year and a half ago, Zach was talking on the phone with someone about the growth of our business, and he's like, yeah, well, one day I'll just hire a sales rep, and then that'll be it, and then we'll just have plenty of work to do. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that would be great. Like, we'll just hire a sales rep and they'll sell stuff, and then we'll have jobs, and then me and Zach won't have to work so hard to find jobs for our company. And it has not been as easy as that sounds. I don't know. I still haven't figured out what's wrong with me and us and our company that we're unable to find the person that we need. It might be a marketing issue. It took me a while to figure out that finding employees is the same exact process as finding customers. They have to be in a pipeline. There are stages of hiring, there are stages of advertising, and there are stages of onboarding, fulfillment. And so once I started treating hiring like the same way I treat customer acquisition, I got a different level caliber of employees, but still to this day, I have struggled with hiring a sales rep. I have hired and fired about 10 or 11 salespeople since we started about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I have tried different types of roles, like remote lead generation roles, hourly roles, door knocking roles, appointment closing roles, B2B roles, any type of sales role. This last one was a full cycle sales role. Like, look, you're just in charge of anything that has to do with lead generation and sales for the business. So that leaves it kind of wide open, and I know like most employees kind of need more structure and like more direction and more instructions. And so after 4 weeks, I noticed the sales rep was struggling to focus and do certain things every day, like hit their KPIs. I created a program. I said, look, here's a binder. Inside of this binder, there are 5 different types of tasks. And so like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a theme of the day. So like Friday is follow-up Friday. So on Fridays, you do all follow-ups. Now, inside of the Friday folder, there was 11 different types of tasks. So you could choose to follow up with general contractors, or follow up with estimates that have already been sent in our system to past customers, or follow up on any networking contacts you made. So whatever you're feeling for that day, just pick that paper out of the folder and follow that paper. It tells you step by step. If you're going to follow up with general contractors on this day, like step 1, like prepare your pipeline, select which general contractors you're going to follow up with. Here's your script, what you say when you call them. These are the types of notes and things that you need to take note on after you talk with them. And then that's it, basically. And then scrub your pipeline and move people forward on your pipeline. So we tried that. She was originally on a 14-day test with that binder, but after 7 days, I just decided like it's not working. It's not going to work out. I'm not seeing the level of effort that we need to see in this role, and I'm still trying to decode how much of this was my fault as a leader, as a manager, as a trainer, and how much of this was like just a mismatch, like her personality, like the things that she wanted to do and willpower and stuff like that. I told her on her first day, like, this is not going to be easy. This is going to be the hardest job you've ever had. You're going to have to be constantly uncomfortable, constantly pushing out of your comfort zone to talk to people and move the needle forward. And at first she seemed very excited and she understood the role. And then just as time goes on, it just seemed like she didn't feel like doing any of it. So, like, we started saying, like, hey, you know, why don't you start coming in at 9 a.m. to check in with us? So she's supposed to be outside sales, so she doesn't have a spot in our office. She's supposed to generate her own leads and generate sales on her own out in the field. And when we requested for her to come in and check in with us every day at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. or 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., something like that, she just said, it doesn't make any sense for me to do that. I don't see why I need to do that. I don't want to do that. I just want to stay at home. And so basically after she said that, I kind of already knew, like, all right, this is not going to work. So that sales rep has come and gone. As a contractor, it's very frustrating because when you bring someone on, you think, this is it. They're going to help us. They're going to lighten the load. I can finally offload all of this pressure off of me onto them, all of these responsibilities. I am so excited. Like, let me do what I need to do to, like, get this person spun up and functioning and producing. And then as time goes on, if that person doesn't produce or they don't function the way you expect, then the pressure starts to come back onto you. Some operators just let it fail and use it as an excuse and let their business fail. Me, I don't. I see the shortcomings and pitfalls and I pick up the pieces. I pick up the balls as they drop. I'm like, oops, she didn't do that follow-up. Let me call and do the follow-up. Let me advance this sale. Let me text the customer. Let me go out to the customer's house. Let me call the customer and, like, get them to accept the estimate, because I'm not seeing the speed, the fulfillment, the process being followed, and just, like, balls getting dropped. And so I fill in the gaps and cover. And I think that is part of the problem, because sales reps will just use that to stay in their comfort zone. And then at the end, they want to ask for commissions. And it's like, I did 90% of that sale for you. Like, you don't get commissions for that. So when the sales rep finally leaves, all the pressure's back on the operator again, or me, or the owner. So yesterday I called 58 property managers. I got like 22 emails to send our new vendor documents to, and added them to the pipeline. Some of them are still not added to the pipeline. I have to spend a little bit of time for admin to add them to the pipeline, but I have a list of phone numbers to call back in a couple of days to follow up and see if they'll start sending us some jobs. My goal is to call 100 property managers every day for 100 days, because Alex Hermosi said something about the rule of 100, and I'm just going to test it out. And so that's my goal. Today, I might not get to it. Yesterday, I did 58. I don't know, we'll see. So after I make this video, I will start calling again. I'm waiting in my car outside of a networking thing. The networking thing is either at 1 or 2, I forget, but it's down in South Jordan. It's called Powerhouse Networking. First time I've ever gone to this one, so we'll see how that goes. We have been banned temporarily, or suspended. I'm not sure the correct word. I don't want to use the wrong word. But there's this big networking group with over 41,000 members in it on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It's pretty well known in the circles that I'm in. It's a free networking group that meets Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays in several locations up and down the valley. They have St. George, Pocatello, and everything in between. So St. George is really South Utah. Pocatello is in Idaho. They have meetings in Ogden, I think Logan. They have South or West Jordan, Salt Lake, Layton, Utah, and stuff like that. And so they usually meet in early mornings or around lunch hour, and that's where we've gotten most of our business from. So that's how I built the business from the beginning, from zero, is networking in that group. And yeah, like 80% of our work comes from that group. Well, it used to, until we started doing home warranty work. But so we started advertising that we do electric. And it's because I was planning to subcontract this out. I made a couple of partnerships with licensed and insured electricians in the area. And I said, look, we're going to start advertising electrical work. So when we get an electrical work order in, I'm going to send you. And this is like little companies. This is like companies that have 1 or 2 employees. It's like a dude in a van and his wife. So these are companies that are all 5 stars. They're like local guys, like guys that were like the best technician at their company. And then they're like, screw this, I'm going to go start my own thing. And then they start their own business. So these are good guys, good local, honest guys with fair pricing. And the way subcontracting works is like, you know, I bill the homeowner $200 and the subcontractor bills me $150. So I make $50 for coordinating it basically and scheduling it and all of that stuff. And so until our team can learn enough about electrical service work and repair and install work, then we can hire our own electrician. Like once we make enough money for an electrical van, we can build out an electrical van, hire an electrician, and then we can start dispatching our own electrician. That is several years down the road. Like we need experience. We need to learn these terminologies, like the processes and everything. And so it's a really great opportunity for small companies. We do the same thing with plumbing. But so I started advertising it in the networking group. When I would stand up and do my 30-second commercial, I would say, hey, we're Utah Mechanical Systems. We do HVAC, plumbing, and electrical work. Call me for any of your home service needs. We do residential and commercial, blah, 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 right? Well, the leader of the group heard about that. Someone reported us. Now that things are kind of starting to unravel, I think I know who it is that's reporting it, because there's one of those networking groups that there's 2 people who go there that hate me. I found out recently. One of them left us a 1-star review just because they personally hate me from stuff they see me advertising on Facebook. And then one person is someone I do business with, and I have had a terrible time with their business, and I have complained to them multiple times about their level of service they have provided for us. And I feel as though he obviously disagrees and he's very defensive. I did a big job for him and he's been working on us. He provides a service for our business and it's a monthly subscription. And I did HVAC install at his house. And I have just been very unsatisfied with the service I've gotten from him. And he just happens to be one of the leaders at one of those meetings. And right after I sent my sales rep down there and she said the commercial about electrical, immediately we got reported to the leader of the networking group, which I normally don't attend that meeting down south where that person is the leader. And so he said, hey, the leader of the group said, hey, you cannot advertise that you're doing electrical work because you do not have an electrical license or an electrical qualifier. And I said, I disagree, because we said that all electrical work will be done by licensed professionals, which my interpretation of the rule, the DOPL, Department of Professional Licensing regulation or law or code or whatever it is, says that you have to be very clear in your advertisement. And I said, even though I disagree with your interpretation of the code, I will stop advertising electrical if it makes you uncomfortable. It's not a problem at all. We will absolutely 100% stop advertising that we do electrical work at your networking group. Since that is your rule, we want to respect your rule. And the conversation was over until 2 weeks later. He came back and said, I thought about this a lot, and you have electrical stuff advertised on your website. And I had just paid my SEO guy a couple $100 to make me an electrical page. And I was like, this is the strategy. Like, we're going to start ramping up electrical and like start getting in some repetitions for electrical work. And he said, you either need to take everything off of your website that has anything to do with electrical or get an electrical qualifier. And so I told the SEO guy to take everything off of the website for electrical. And then within 24 hours, I let the leader of that networking group know. I said, okay, we took everything off. I'm really sorry. It was just a misunderstanding. I felt as though I was operating within the regulations. You obviously disagree, and I don't want to lose my right to be in your networking group. So I yielded and basically took that off for you. Could you please let us back into the group? And he said it's a minimum 30 days. It could be 60 days depending on how I respond to it. I don't know what that means. I guess like if I go crazy and start like talking trash about him or something online, that he would make it 60 days, or I don't know what that means based off of how I respond. So I'm just trying to be really careful about how I respond, but that's the God's honest truth about what's going on. And it is something that's very stressful for our business right now. I'm not sure if the leader of that networking group understands the impact that this has had on our business, but we have lost a significant amount of revenue just from losing access to that networking group. It has caused a huge problem between me and all of our professional contacts that know me from I almost said the word that know me from that networking group, because they keep asking me, like, what's wrong? Why aren't you going to the meetings? Like, why aren't you there? And I'm like, we got kicked out temporarily. And so it's really awkward, and it has hurt our business a lot. I'm trying not to dwell on it, and it has opened my eyes that I need to always be vigilant and find other ways of lead generation. So I am trying out new networking groups in the meantime. Today's Tuesday. Normally I would be at one of those networking groups for that big one. I have come up with a new strategy. Like, once we get let back into that group, I'm just going to go to each meeting once per month, because the rule is you have to attend like once that month in order to speak and do like a 15-minute presentation, a business overview, which I really like doing, because it helps you educate customers, potential customers, and referral partners about some of the services that you offer and your business. And it usually helps boost sales and trust in the community. So I'm just going to go to each one of those meetings once a month, and then alternate with other types of networking groups, and just keep my pipeline full of new and exciting networking opportunities, and basically not keep all my eggs in one basket. So there's that. We are a member of the Ogden and Davis chambers. There's 2 different chambers that I'm a member of. It's like $500 a year, I think. And they have a bunch of different types of events. They have like women in business, and like the board of directors, or it's like a bunch of politicians. And then there's one, like a military one. So this morning I went to women in business. It was a breakfast thing where they announced a couple of awards. They had breakfast there. I think I had to pay $25 to go there, and then they give you breakfast. We had a breakfast burrito. And it had a white elephant gift exchange too. It was really fun because they were like, if you like listening to podcasts, swap gifts with someone. If you like reading books, swap gifts with someone. If summertime is your favorite season, swap gifts with someone. And they did that for like 20 different iterations. And it was really fun watching everyone like walk around and swap gifts with people and stuff. And so they did that, and I forgot to bring a gift. So I did not participate, but it was really fun to watch people do it. So I made a mental note, like, okay, next year when it's Christmas time, make sure you have a couple of gifts ready for these networking groups, because some of them do white elephant. And so it's on my operating procedures now. Next year in November and December, I'll stock up on little general gifts that I can give out at networking. Something really cool that my business does that others don't is, for HVAC, I have 3D printed models of a furnace and a coil, and all my competitors are going to steal my idea now, but that's fine. I don't care. No one can do it as good as me. So here's the AC unit. So it's 3D printed. They're like to scale, sort of, almost. Yeah, they're to scale if it's like a 3.5 ton. So the reason why this helps with sales so much at the sales appointment is because, one, the customer can hold it and feel it in their hand, and then psychologically they feel like it's theirs, they own it. And so when you leave and you take it with you, they have this psychological effect of like, someone's taking something from me that I want, and so they call you back. Another way this helps is because people are very visual creatures, and this helps me to explain stuff. So I'll say to them, like, look, inside of here, this is the outdoor AC unit. Inside of here is the compressor. It goes right in the middle, and it's like a tank, and it compresses the Freon. I'd use the word Freon because most people don't know the word refrigerant. They know what Freon is. It's the juice that makes it cold, basically. So it makes the AC. I explain to them, like, the fan is right here. There's a motor in here that spins the fan. I tell them that the refrigerant lines hook up right here, that the Freon flows through. If you don't know, Freon is a brand of refrigerant, like Kleenex is a brand of facial tissue. But it's super popularized, so everyone just calls it Freon. Like everyone calls it a Kleenex or a Q-tip. A Q-tip is a facial swab or ear swab, or it's a cotton swab. So Q-tip is the brand name. So I use this to explain to them, like, look, this is also a heat pump. A heat pump looks exactly like an AC. There's something inside of here that's different about an AC. It's called a reversing valve. It reverses the flow of refrigerant, and that's how you can get heat in the wintertime, how your AC can produce heat in the wintertime. The same way it produces cooling effect in the summertime is the same way it makes heat in the wintertime. It's just reversed. And so I use this to explain things. And so a lot of people don't even know a coil is the indoor portion of that AC unit, and they connect to each other with copper pipes, copper tubes that the refrigerant flows through. And coils will sit on top of your furnace like this, or maybe they're like this. Sometimes they're upside down like this. It's called a downflow. But essentially, what most of the houses out here in Utah, they're in the basement, so it's like this. There's a fan inside of here. When you turn the AC on in the summertime, a fan blows air this way over the coil. The coil is very cold, and so the air that comes out on the other side of this is colder. It is not actually producing cold, it's actually removing heat. It's a very scientific process, but the refrigerant in this coil, which is like a bunch of tubes, it pulls heat out of the air and sends it outside through the pipes, the copper pipes. But the air on the other side of this is colder than the air that came in. That's basically all the homeowner needs to know. Because if you get too technical, you'll confuse people. And they say in my industry in sales, too techie, no checky. So if you get too technical, you'll confuse the homeowner, and they will be overwhelmed and not make a decision and not pay you, basically. They will choose someone else that can simplify it for them. So I use that to help with my sales and educate the customer about how the system works. I use it to help explain like warranties and stuff. That's really it for today. I signed up for a gym membership because I want to lose all this baby weight and become in better shape. I want to be a good role model for my employees. I read somewhere or heard somewhere that any employee is only ever going to be 60% as good as the owner or their leader or their manager. And so I figure if I want my employees to be better, faster, stronger, more resilient, then I need to be better, faster, stronger, more resilient. And so I'm going to make myself better, and then that will just automatically, I won't even have to try, the employees will become better, faster, stronger. And so they'll be more resilient. So when things are stressful, they can handle it better. They're not as stressed out. They will be happier at work. They will have more like life balance, work-life balance, more satisfaction, stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically what's on my mind. I just wrote on the board this morning, like 2026, I'm getting hot. 2026 goals or like projects that we need to focus on. We are rolling out a teletechnician program called Teletech, which is a remote technician service. Anyone in the country can pay to speak with a licensed, certified HVAC technician and get technical advice and help troubleshooting. Obviously, they have to sign a bunch of disclaimers and liability stuff and like disclosures and everything like that, waivers and stuff. We're rolling out our affiliate program. It can go 7 layers deep. So if I want to go full MLM with the HVAC, I can. But basically, it's like, hey, if you really enjoyed our service, like here's your affiliate link. If you ever like send someone our way for a repair and they make the purchase through your link, you will automatically get paid for that. It works. It's supposed to be intended for like real estate agents, general contractors, property management companies, and then if they choose to take the ball and run with it, they can have someone sign up under them as an affiliate. So I don't know how far it'll go, but I'm allowed to have 7 layers of it through the program that I'm using. So there's that. We're gonna have that all automated and like a sales cycle for that to introduce that to the customers. We are focusing more on maintenance plans this year. I think we only have like 5 customers that are maintenance plan customers, but we have about 1,000 customers, and so I need to call all of them and ask if they are interested in signing up for the maintenance plan. And a lot of them have expressed interest in signing up for it, but we've just been too busy to call and follow up and get them to sign up. which is another reason why I need a sales rep, because it's like a full-time job just calling customers and like trying to re-engage them in our funnel, in our system. And yeah, just been having bad luck trying to figure out how to get someone to do that. Everyone has like this aversion to sales. They think sales is disgusting, but sales is not something you do to someone. Sales is something you do for them. So selling someone a maintenance plan is preventing them from having a major breakdown, which can cost them thousands of dollars. And a maintenance plan is only $14.95 a month. So it's something that is for the better good of the customer. And a lot of people have had negative experiences with salespeople. And so when you hire for a sales position, the type of people that show up are usually just like psychotic. And no one ever that's in like a regular job ever wants to convert over to sales, because it's like unsecured and like not a secure job, they feel like. But you can make a lot of money in it, and it's very rewarding and satisfying to be able to help people, pair people up with solutions to their problems. So sales can be very rewarding, but it does take a special type of person to do it, and so far I have not found that special person. There's that. I'm going to show you guys one of our things that we have. So we got these stickers that it has a texture on them. There's flames and what's that called? Snowflakes. And in the middle is wrenches. And it's like embossed, like a raised texture. The guy that does these for us, his name is Dylan. His company is called Sigil Lumi. He designed this for us. And this is a sticker you're meant to put on your furnace or your water heater. And it's really cool because it's business card shape. I can send it in a letter. I hand it out to people at meetings, at networking meetings, as my business card. I do have business cards with my face and stuff on them, but they're not as effective as a sticker. Everyone loves stickers. They're like, oh, it's a sticker, I love it. And I'm like, yep, stick it on your furnace. And this says, I'm a sticker, Utah Mechanical Systems, peel me, I'm a sticker. And so I had him add that on the back, because I felt like when I was handing this to people, or if I sent it in the mail and I wasn't able to tell them verbally, hey, this is a sticker, they would just think it's a one-sided floppy business card and not stick it on something. So yep, I love sending these things out, because in my mind I just imagine people are sticking them on stuff, and if it's stuck in a place that other people can see it, it's marketing. So I love these things. I hand them out like candy. I love if customers put it on their water heater and their furnace and then call me if that stuff breaks. I love that. And it's also a coupon. It says 10% off future service from UMS. So we have that going for us. Let me show you guys something else. Okay, so when I go to my in-home appointments, my competitors are probably going to steal all my ideas. It's fine. I'm not insecure about it. So when I go to my in-home appointments, I sit down with the homeowner, educate them, and figure out what they need. And then I say, okay, I'm going to go to the car and make your quote. While I'm gone, I want you to read or skim through this book. And we call it internally, we call it our brag book, because it's a book about how great we are. So on the front, it tells our story. Me and Zach, I was pregnant in that photo. You can barely tell. Thanks to my photographer. It says like what me and Zach, where we came from, how we started the business. And then there's more about us. It says that I was an Air Force veteran, blah, blah, blah. And we have professional photos here. And then they don't have to read the whole thing. And then here's photos of our family. Like, we're a huge family brand. Zach really likes his BMW. That's not his car, but he has one like it. And then like pictures of our kid doing work with Zach at a photo shoot. And then I was an F-16 and F-35 avionics mechanic in the Air Force for 11 years. Then there's like questions, like, I don't know why I put this in here, but these are like questions I'm supposed to ask the customer. Photos of our work before and afters, more photos of our work before and afters, and then some of our 5-star reviews I clipped out and put here. And then the rest is like sales stuff. So there's more 5-star reviews, and then there's Zach again. And then this is like our filter delivery system, like different size filters. You can scan this QR code to get to that size filter. And then there's reports about AeroSeal, which is like sealing your ductwork, how it affects your energy bill and like increases comfort in your home. And then information about our efficiency audit. So like these are different products and services that we offer. Here's our maintenance plans, like gold, silver, and bronze. Then here's like another menu we have with like some of our old pricing. I have to really update this, but it helps customers to see like, oh, their service call is $149. So I know if I choose this company in 5 years or whatever, our service call is going to be more expensive in the future, but they're like, oh, this is an affordable company. Like, I know if I choose this company to do my replacement, they're going to be affordable for maintenance and repairs also. And then here's another menu with some pricing. And then here's information about the humidifiers that we offer and the UV sterilizers and smart thermostats. Information about heat pumps. And then we have Breeze lease to own. We have Acorn financing, FlexBuy financing. Since I made this, I also have financing for with WiseTech and GoodLeap, so I can get 15 years payment plan, and it's usually like $150 to $200 a month for 15 years, which is a long time to pay something off. But by the time you're done paying it off, it's time to get a new one. So just think of it as like a subscription to a new system, basically. And then included in that is like 10 years of maintenance. So you're getting like the tune-ups and stuff and discounts on repairs for the whole thing. So. And then I have a home equity line of credit option in here. And then our business license and insurance and Doppel license. And then scan here for payment options. We accept every type of payment. And then an invitation to our biannual barbecue. And then of course a thank you page for all of our like vendors and teammates and like people that we use to fulfill. Like these are all the people that we partner with to get this mission done. Like some of these are suppliers, some of these are professional services that we use to create the product and service for the system and for our for systems for the customers. And then it's just a thank you page. So that's our brag book. So when people have this, they feel like, wow, this is a real company, a professional company. It's not just some like crazy dude showing up in a truck that's gonna rip them off. So they feel like, wow, this is a real business, like I can trust them. Then we go through like pricing. So like here's my price book. Basically the first 20 or so pages are like all of our guarantees, and then there's pricing in here. So there's Deluxe, Comfort, Smart, and the pricing is at the bottom with monthly payments. I have it's divided by size: 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, and 5 ton. And there's AC and furnace. There's furnace only, AC only. There's add AC to heat only system, and then there's mini split systems in there for pricing. And that's why the book is so thick. So if you're like, yeah, I just want a furnace, then I'll just open it up to furnace only and say, okay, you have a 3-ton system size. This is your pricing. And then we can customize it. So if they're like, well, I don't want the duct cleaning, because duct cleaning is included on Comfort or Deluxe. And then I just take that off, and I can just remove the price. Like duct cleaning is $500. So I just take that off, make a custom quote for them. And then I come back in and say, okay, look, I put everything that we talked about on your quote. It's custom just for you. Like, are you ready to get started today? And then sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes. If they say no, we work through it. Like, well, how come? Like, are you waiting for more quotes, or was it more expensive than you were expecting, or whatever? I don't say it like that, but I try and figure out why they're not ready to move forward, and then come up with a plan to move forward later. So if they're like, well, we're waiting on more quotes, I say, okay, well, let's schedule a time to come back and we'll compare all the quotes together. My main service is to educate you. It doesn't bother me if you say yes or no. If I educate you and you choose another person, it doesn't hurt me at all. I have to sit through the same number of these consultations every day anyway. So a certain percentage statistically will say yes, and I'm cool with that. And I don't care if you say yes or no. So there's no pressure at all. I just want, my whole mission is to educate the customer and make sure that they're making the decision that's right for them. And sometimes we're not a fit for people, because we have different standards and expectations and fulfillment timelines, and we're different than everyone else. So sometimes we're just not a fit, and there's no hard feelings at all. We just move on. So there's that. That's how I do my sales calls. I'll show you guys one more thing. We do scented vents, which is like a whole home scent system that diffuses a dry mist that does not leave a residue, that is derived from essential oils. It's safe for kids and babies and pets and sensitive people For example, I get migraines triggered from smells, and I have it in my house and I haven't gotten any migraines from it. And it actually dismantles, deletes, breaks apart, breaks down the molecules that cause odors. So if you have like a litter box, it will break apart the molecules that cause the litter box smell in the air. And it will make your house smell fresh. It can also boost your mood. So if you have a retail space and you want to increase sales, having one of these in your retail space can increase your sales because it relaxes the customers, puts them in a more receptive state. They're more calm, they're less guarded, they're relaxed, they have a good mood. So yeah. So what I do is I have them in a binder like this, and these are the different scents. There's 32 scents, I think. And you open up the little baggies and can smell them and pick out which scents that you like. I take notes back here. And then, yeah, business cards and stuff all right here. And yeah, we call it a smelling session. So you can book a free smelling session. It's no pressure. I show up, you smell the stuff. I tell you how much it costs. If you want it, great. If you don't, I don't care. I just move on. It's no pressure. I have all the stuff to install it in my car. I can do it myself. I have all the tools. It takes me about 30 minutes to an hour to install one. And yep, a lot of questions I get. People ask how long the scents last. It depends on how you schedule it and the intensity, but you can schedule how intense you want it to be. You can schedule it 9 to 5, or like if retail 9 to 5, or you can schedule it for when you're home, 6 to 9 p.m., or if you're having guests on Saturday. And then an intensity level 1 to 10. We use intensity level number 2, and I have it going all day, because we used to have our home office and we were home all day. And the thing lasted me like 3 months when I had it scheduled all day, like 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. at night, basically, on level 2. So yeah, it just varies. But that's kind of all that's on my mind today. We're looking for a new bookkeeper. Yep. So that's it. I'll put that out there. I have to edit out that thing I said. I almost said the name of the networking group. But, yep, I'll see you guys next time.